You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. We've all heard this line in every cop show and courtroom drama. But would you believe that now it applies to real estate too? Not long ago, a buyer sued their own agent for sharing showing feedback. A small comment triggered a legal ruling that's changing how agents communicate in 2025. Here's the story. After the showing, the buyer's agent casually shared the feedback by saying the house is overpriced and in a poor condition. Totally normal in the past, right? And later, the buyer submitted a below asking offer. The seller, having seen that negative comment, felt annoyed and countered full price. Surprisingly, the buyer accepted the counter offer. During inspections, tensions rose. The buyer asked for repairs, and the seller simply refused to address any of the issues. Why? Because that negative feedback made them feel disrespected. They saw the buyer as difficult. The twisting point? At closing, the buyer and the seller actually met, and the seller admitted they had been hard on the buyer just because of that negative feedback. The buyer was stunned. They didn't realize their agent shared such a feedback, and that moment triggered a lawsuit. The buyer claimed their agent violated fiduciary duty, and the court agreed. By sharing private opinions, the agent weakened the buyer's negotiating power, and the judge held the agent accountable. So why does this matter? Well, that wasn't just a one-off. This case sets precedent. Suddenly, innocent comment like dated kitchen or carpet needing replacement can become ammunition during negotiations. Not only the negative ones, even the positive ones. A comment like, they love the house but not the carpet, can cause the buyer negotiating leverage down the road. Here's another real-life example. A buyer loved a home but disliked the carpet, so the agent shared this information in her feedback. Later, when the buyer asked for repairs, the seller refused all except the carpet credit by saying that was their only issue. So a simple comment, all leverage gone. So how the game has changed. Old school feedback like they liked it but still looking is being replaced by radio silence. This is not a bad representation. Rather, it is a strategic. Good agent won't give away their client's power. So if your agent is telling you there's no feedback, it's likely the buyer's agent is doing their job. In today's market, silence protects the buyer's position. So what do you think? Should agent continue sharing showing feedback? Leave your thoughts in the comment. I'd love to know your take on this. So what now? Agents are adapting fast. In this new legal landscape, opinions come with consequences. So if you are a seller wondering what the buyer thinks, you won't hear it directly, but it doesn't mean they're not giving your feedback. In 2025, feedback comes through actions, not words. Let me show you how to decode the new language of real estate feedback. First, let's take a look at the numbers. There are several ways number can provide feedback to you. For instance, showings. If you already got 20 showings but no offer, that's a feedback. That's the market way of telling you either the price or the presentation is off. Next, online activity. Are people clicking, saving, or revisiting your list? Strong engagement translates to strong buyer interest. And the next, comparative data. If your listing is having fewer showings compared to similar properties nearby, assuming everything else is equal, that means your listing needs some sort of adjustment. And finally, speed of offer. A quick offer at or above asking price is a feedback. It's a market way of telling you the house was priced correctly and showed well. But on the other hand, a delayed lowball offer can mean the buyer sees value in your property, but just not at your price. Besides the numbers, buyers' behavior can also send signals to you. For instance, after the showing, the buyer had no questions. That means they are not interested. they probably already crossed their house off their list. On the other hand, if after the showing, the buyer asks a lot of detailed questions, such as the age of the HVAC, the age of the roof, room dimensions, or utility bills, that means they're interested and they're trying to figure out whether this house can work for their lifestyle or not. Other behaviors like staying longer or revisit or fast follow-up, all these are buying signals. And besides the numbers and buyer behavior, there's one more way that the market sends feedback to you. That is no offer. No offer is the clearest message that the market can give you. This means your house didn't meet the expectation, either on price, features, or simply lack emotional appeal. So what should sellers do? Stop waiting for words. Start paying attention to signs. Showings equals to interest. Lack of showing equals to problem. And revisit equals to strong interest. And fast follow-up by the buyer's agent is the buy-side's way of sending a sense of urgency. Your agent should be tracking and interpreting all of these weekly, and that's how you stay informed in today's market. To conclude, the death of showing feedback is not a problem, it's a progress. The market still speaks, just in a new language. Learn to hear it, and you will gain an edge. So, if you are in the Greater Princeton market and thinking about listing or relisting your home, let's connect. Let's take a closer look at what the market is doing in your immediate area. If you're outside of this area and need a sharp and strategic agent to help you navigate this new landscape, I'd be happy to connect you. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. If this gave you a new perspective on how to sell smart in 2025. Until next time, take care.